Public hearing to order. The purpose of the public hearing today is to receive public comment on the consideration of the proposed historic preservation ordinance revisions. And I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Post.
Um, Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Good evening. We repeal and replace because state statutes have changed a little bit and terminology has changed and the statute references have changed. And so a lot of the document is updating the ordinance to come into full compliance with the way the statutes read today. We work with the Historic Preservation Commission and Mr. Kubis to make sure that all these changes are compliant with state statute, and they are. One of the only, I'd say major changes that I think is beneficial for properties that are in the program is that we had the ability to differentiate between major and minor repair works. And minor works, if you have to replace a pane of glass or something small, can be done at an administrative level without having to go through a hearing process. But if you're going to reside the whole building, that's going to be something that has to go to the Preservation Commission for a hearing process that's outlined in the ordinance. But the program itself is staying the same as it always has been, and the operation of it stays the same. We're just modernizing it. I know we talked about this in more in depth in January, but I'll turn it back over to the board to see if there's any questions that you got.
First up tonight is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will please stand, turn to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Good evening. First up this evening, we have approval of the agenda. If there are no needs to make any amendments, I'll seek a motion for approval.
So moved.
And a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. None opposed. Moving on now to our approval of minutes. We have our February 3rd public hearing for finance, public hearing for public safety, service district, our regular session meeting minutes, and our work session meeting minutes. If everyone's had a chance to look over those, seek a motion for approval of all four.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Moving on now to administrative reports. Today we had our budget retreat with a lot of emphasis on just really taking a good look at our budget and seeing where we can save some money, seeing where services are needed. Staff. This evening? If not, I'll turn it over to County Manager King.
I do not really have anything additional to say other than the budget retreat was a good insight on the prioritization for next year, and so we're working diligently through that process. We're starting with department heads next week, and then March 1st we'll have the nonprofits. So they're going to be a lot of things we're going to be having in the next couple of months, but I really appreciate the board through that process. So.
When does nonprofit grant applications go live? Tomorrow? They're live now.
Live today, yeah.
Reminder that our rules for public comment, sign up to speak before the meeting. The speaking is limited to 3 minutes. Public comment is designed for us to listen, and we will not be answering any questions. And public comment is not designed to poll the board, and personnel issues can.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me a bit of your time. My name is Hannah Ferguson, and I am asking to be considered as District 119's representative for the North Carolina House. I am up against a primary. I am one of 3 people running for the Republican seat, and you haven't heard of me because this is my first time seeking public office anywhere at any time. I have lived my entire life in a small community. I worked there for over 30 years as a small business owner, and I've participated in a lot of local government boards. I've been on some oversight boards for the EBCI, a couple of things for Swain County, but I had never considered running taxpayer dollars hostage because we've paid that money, and why that money is not allowed to be working for us over disputes. There should never be a recess unless a budget is set. That's a basic part of the job. But overall, the one thing that I feel compelled to run for is that Western North Carolina is just vastly overlooked when it comes to state resources. We are geographically about as far as you could get from Raleigh here, and we're out of sight, out of mind. We're the first in line for budget cuts. We're the last when it comes to state support being sent. Economic development, those things are typically sent to the central state down east, and I think it's time that we make sure that our needs are met. And I actually exceeded because I think with a little bit more help from the state that we pick ourselves up and we become a community that thrives rather than one that's getting by. So, I have a very basic website. It's voteannaferguson.com. It'll go over my points, but more importantly, it lets you contact me. So if you're registered, I don't care what you're registered, March 3rd, everybody go vote. It's important. It's how you make your decisions. It's where you get your voice heard, especially with your local government. Thank you so much.
Hey, oh God, that was weird. I just wanted to talk to you guys about kind of fiscal responsibility as county commissioners, and something that I haven't heard you all speak about is that, like we've just mentioned, we don't have a state budget currently. There could be real impact for us as a county when that state budget does come out. We also, I know from working for the school district, that most of the people that work for Jackson County Public Schools rely on a pay increase, like an annual pay increase with that budget. That hasn't happened yet, and so those pay increases usually are just made to keep up barely with inflation and how different things are changing, and we all know that they don't entirely keep up, but that's kind of the point. And so what we have are a lot of staff members that are losing or not getting those pay increases and haven't been getting those pay increases this year that they usually anticipate. And I know there are other implications for not having a state budget that are really important, right? And then I also think about national at making sure that our kids get free breakfast and lunch. I think that's incredible, and I really appreciate that. But to consider as federal cuts come, as there's no state budget, we might anticipate that, but I haven't heard much discussion as a board about what that means for the county and how the county is going to pick up that cost. And I think that's really important considering you guys are being asked for a lot of money right now, millions of dollars by the school board for really important things. You're being asked from nonprofits for, again, things that are really, really important. But I think it makes sense that as a board of commissioners that you're really paying attention to our budget and what these cuts, national plan is moving forward as we look at a lot of those financial cuts and we look at a lot of financial hardship in Jackson County and that we can anticipate increasing in Jackson County. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Proposed third amendment to the FRL interlocal agreement and the potential legal jeopardy concerning it, especially as you'll be considering the modified version that was recently passed by the FRL board. As currently written, neither the original third amendment nor the modified version proposed by Laura Richards and passed by the FRL board makes a clear enough distinction that the FRL includes multiple revenue sources. Non-county revenue makes up 30% of the current FRL budget. Any state, federal, or grant money given to the FRL for libraries and then reimbursed to the counties, which you could then use for non-library purposes since no stipulations are listed in the amendment, would open up, raises the potential legal jeopardy of misappropriation. Any privately donated money from endowments, friend groups, or individuals likewise raises potential legal jeopardy of repurposing donations for other than stated use. The modified, as the FRL still does not have a lawyer on retainer, this modified amendment was never reviewed for legal shortcomings. While I'm not a lawyer myself, I would think that the amendment should include very clear language that only county-supplied revenue should be considered for reimbursement, or that stipulations be added that any reimbursed money only be spent on the libraries if the entirety of the FRL's general fund is being considered. Thank you.
Chris. Moving on now to our consent agenda, and first up this evening, we have Ms. Fox with our finance report for February.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Go over the highlights for the month of January. The general fund revenues collected to date, $75,351,610. That's 69.9% of budget. The expenditures are at $54,800,000 distribution for the month of January, which was October sales. That amount was $2,109,862. It's a 17.68% increase over the amount we received last January. The Article 46 distribution was $238,990, and the average increase for the fiscal year is 11.19%, which is really good. The landfill disposal fees collected, $2,724,42% of budget. The prior year landfill disposal fees, $39,593, it's 52.79% of budget. The growth revenues we've been tracking, the is for the month to date, the environment deeds 18.14%. The general fund contingency balance at the end of January is $821,387. Be glad to answer any questions on the report.
Just for everybody's kind of personal knowledge, the October sales being over 2025, I mean, you think that's probably Helene? I mean, that's when, because you're doing October versus October, so it'll be 20.
That's probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
What about the 27% less on the planning
budget?
That varies with subdivisions.
Okay.
I mean, and it's not a lot of money.
Additional questions? If not, we'll move on to item number 2 in our budget ordinance amendment.
I have one budget amendment. It's an increase of $11,500. We received, all three are donations, one from,
For seniors, do they just come and get them themselves, or they take them to their house?
they take them to their house when they deliver the meals. You're welcome.
Next up this evening, we have Ms. Brooks from the tax collector and refund reports for February.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So for the month of January, the current taxes collected were $5,776,573. The delinquent taxes collected were $42,569. The total collected for the month was $6,124,455.63. There were refunds of $6,074.63. There were refunds of $6,074.06 and releases of $7,184.36. And the rate at the end of the month was 93.11%. Any questions? Thank you.
With that being the end of the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve all 3 items?
So moved.
Okay, in a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Commissioners. So do we have the presentation, sir? There we go. All right, so we've got 2 exciting projects to bring forward to you. These come as recommendations from our board, but commissioners, as you know, have the ultimate decision on these projects. So the first one is Pinnacle Park Trail expansion. These are tourism capital project funds, so they are paid by visitors, not by local taxpayers. The town of Silva presented this project to us, and the goal of this is to upgrade the Pinnacle Park trails and infrastructure. They see more and more visitors there every year. The project cost, the total is $682,645, and they've requested $341,322 from us. They've secured a Parks and Recreation Trust Fund grant, and 100% of the cost will be spent locally. They're going to install trails leading to a viewing platform, and it's going to improve access for seniors, families, and individuals with movement limitations. It's going to add about 6,000 linear feet of new hiking trails and improve the backcountry campsites. That we expect will bring 20% increased visitors to Pinnacle Park, roughly 4,600 new vehicle visits a year. And in doing all the math, it's going to bring about $1.8 million in spending, retail, food, and transportation to the Silva and Dillsboro communities and support the local jobs and economy. Mm-hmm. And the next project is the Village Green restrooms. I know the Board of Commissioners is familiar with this project from their meeting in Cashers. We're a partner on this project, and this is the current situation of the restrooms that are the only public restrooms in Cashers. The total project cost is $675,000, and they've requested $204,000 from the Jackson County TDA. And the organization is the Village Green of Cashers, a nonprofit, and they're going to spend 100% of the project cost locally. The existing building's over 20 years old. It's deteriorating and not unheated. They currently only have 2 toilets to serve thousands of visitors, and they lack heat and running water in the winter. So they're going to increase from 2 to 6 toilets, have a baby changing area, make it fully winterized, and have heated construction. And they'll have full ADA compliance for seniors and people with mobility challenges. They're also going to replace a culvert and install 400 amp electrical service as well. And it's going to look a lot like the feel of Cashers as well. They anticipate they'll see 37,000 visitors this year, and they have over 275 free annual events like the Leaf Festival. And it's going to support making those visits a lot more comfortable for visitors who come to the community. And that's the conclusion of that project. But I did want to just show the projects that you guys have approved and supported, and they are well underway. Bridge Park is completed, the Tuck River Greenway, the land acquisition. I know they're doing some work on that with clearing. The Dillsboro Link is in progress, and the fairgrounds in Whittier. I visited that site today, and it's coming along really well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the fairground
Absolutely.
donation or funds, whatever,
Sure.
whatever the proper wording is.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Breedlove? So of these two projects, the total cost is, well, the total ask is how much?
I don't have the total combined, but the first one, Pinnacle Park, is 341, 322, and then the Village Green is 204,000. I believe we're looking at 545,322.
Ms. Fox? Is this coming out of general fund?
No, this is coming out of TDA.
Out of TDA fund? Okay. So
Village.
we did the Equinox study 2 years ago.
I saw on the slide that Jackson County did 400,000.
That is in the current year budget.
Yeah. With that, is there any other questions for Mr. Breedlove?
That's good.
Thank you.
Great things.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor?
Uh,
None opposed?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Breedlove. Next up this evening, we have Ms. Henry with Economic Development on an easement agreement with the Board of Education and GS Irvine of Silva.
Good afternoon. Hope y'all are doing well. So in front of you, we were going to bring this before you at the joint board meeting, but really needed action and felt like we would just wait. Now we are at the point, we've got an easement agreement for essentially what's happened is, and I'm going to scroll past so you can kind of get a map and give you a better idea of what we're talking about. So this was some sidewalk feasibility studies that the school system had done along with the planning and zoning department and a few others. And what they are trying to figure out is sort of sidewalks and how they make that a little bit more safe for students. We since had a developer approach us, and I'm going to scroll on down to this map here really quick to give you a better idea. It's at the bottom, sorry. Don't look at the screen till I get to the bottom. Make you sick. We are down here at the bottom, so this is actually where the track, over here in the corner, this is where the track will be. The parcel is across Cliffside Drive over here in this shaded area. And so they're wanting an easement that will come across our property. There's a little stretch here. Basically, this is the property line that will allow them to access this property up here. So they're wanting to develop this piece of property for medical offices, and they want access to be able to come across here. And so because this is Board of Education in Jackson County, we have to do sort of a joint easement, if you will. And so we have been working sort of behind the scenes with the Board of Education and the property owner to determine what makes the most sense, what they need out of it, knowing they've been doing the sidewalk feasibility studies and the mapping and what they wanted. We knew this could potentially impact it. And so the Board of Education essentially has asked the property owner, developer, to install sidewalks. And so there is no sidewalks, basically starting where these parking spaces currently are right here. There's no sidewalk now. And so this developer will install sidewalks along this edge of the curb and guttering, and then there'll be a crosswalk and then sidewalk down here to the property line. And so that is sort of their compensation to the Board of Education for getting this easement. And so that was this has actually been going on for quite some time.
But see, they already have, we discussed this before, they already have that road behind where the, what's the, no, the Reach place, what's the new name for them out there? We were talking today that wasn't gonna be finished for another month. Domestic Violence Center. They already have that road frontage, and then we're still not sure how it's gonna impact, or the state's gonna do it with the new road and all that.
Yeah, and all of it, the sidewalk has to be installed to DOT standards. The driveway permit would also have to be approved by DOT standards. We're just basically asking for the easement that would
I
allow.
just think there's so much congestion
Mhm.
with the school and everything. I just think it makes it more unsafe. I
Yeah.
don't know why they can't come in on the road they already have.
They will do both. They will do both, most likely. But there will be, it won't be sort of a cut through. And I think that ultimately that's where DOT kind of comes in, and they have to make that decision on where that driveway can safely be.
I just don't like that because you've already got so much traffic coming in and out with the houses that are already back up in there.
Mhm.
And trying to make it safe for students, and then adding a sidewalk, which is nice, but down the side of that road, I mean, I don't know.
Kids already walk
Yeah, and this,
without a sidewalk, so I feel a sidewalk and a curb would actually make it safer for them walking.
How much property does the county own on the other side of the?
it's just a very thin strip.
It's just that bank.
It's not even the whole bank. It's not even the whole bank. It's really just kind of mostly where the sidewalk is going to go.
And, well, I guess you probably wouldn't know this, but no telling what it costs to put the sidewalks in.
Well, and the engineering that it's in surveying that it's costing as well. And we did at the beginning of your pack here. Let's see. We did a letter of intent with the Board of Education, and that was executed. A letter of understanding that was ultimately, there was a mutual understanding that this was the end goal, to do this easement for him to install the sidewalk. The Board of Education has it on their agenda for next week, and so we would act after they voted on it. But this is basically, I'm asking you to, once we have approval from the Board of Education, to give us the authority to execute this easement.
That sidewalk, is there a connecting sidewalk on the quality?
No,
No.
no.
So it just it'll
It just
dead.
dead ends at a traffic light that's gonna be very busy.
Oh. We'd have to go across quality, Mark.
So the new growth project will bring in.
I will say, yeah.
Areas into, so, right now, it would certainly be an ending point where there's no existing sidewalk, but the 107 plan shows sidewalks coming into this, so it's kind of built into that. And, what that would do is create some connectivity for safe pedestrian movements along, into the high school, which you don't currently
Have.
on that side of the school, so on that entryway. So it helps achieve more pedestrian connectivity for those that don't have the ability to ride or drive.
And they're doing it anyway, so we're just trying to give them a space.
They're definitely doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it anyway.
Across the road in traffic, trying to beat the cars.
I do agree that it is a congested area, but
And DOT has been a part of these conversations as well, and so they're aware of this and have given.
I think a lot of it did shift on up a little bit away from that one intersection we're going down the hill, so it's actually up about probably 70, 80 feet
Mhm.
where it started. And that was by DOT design, so it's been vetted through their division engineer. As far as the safety component,
But like, how far is it gonna be backed up by the time you get buses coming in and out, and you have doctors or visitors to them, patients going in and
Well,
out
they
that
still
way
have
too?
access on the
Well,
other
they'll still
side.
have access on the
If
other
it's backed
side.
up, people will go around the other way. But, you know,
Yeah. I don't know why they can't go around the other way anyway.
But they'll probably do both.
it makes it more attractive for people coming in to have multiple.
And, think,
red light, there's elderly people have a hard time getting out on that road anyway. So I know that most of you elderly people are gonna go to your red light and
Red
get
light, yeah.
out. 'Cause especially with the project, it's gonna make that road so busy and I think it's a good thing too, because it's
Well-
gonna help growth for business.
Well, and that's just it, and that's how I got to be a part of this to begin with. Is we're encouraging development, and we need that along that corridor. As we not yet.
Doctor's offices.
Once we have this, then he's going to start recruiting that. He's just been waiting on this component.
Is there a motion for approval of the easement agreement?
So moved.
And a second?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Yes, I'm opposed.
You're opposed. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Moving on now to our Smoky Mountain High School track and county admin AIA contracts. And Mr. King.
So this is for 2 individual contracts. The first one is for the Smoky Mountain High School track. I have the maximum price. It's right at 2.5 million. I don't have the exact number. Got that over there.
It's $2,517,355.
That would be the number one. Both of these packages are going to be along with the Fairview Elementary project, which is going to be bid out. Not bid out, but going to the local government commission on March the 3rd. With these 2 particular projects, there's especially with the administration building piece, there's some steel pricing that we want to lock in. So I want to go ahead and get conditional approval based on going before the LGC. Now, if the LGC first turns it down, then it would be nothing more. But at this point, I'll just be asking for conditional approval for both of these. The second one is $15,980,000. I thought that was right. Which, like I had expressed earlier, that is about a $3 million under budget, what was projected. So we did really good in the process of value engineering with Vinoy. They put a lot of work into it along with their architect, Odell Thompson. So wanted to give it a shout out to them. Anyway, but these 2 projects, if we get conditional approval to go ahead and sign these documents, we can kind of lock in that pricing. The third GMP for Fairview Elementary will be here later on this month, and we'll have that presented on the 3rd of March along with the final. But totally, I've already authorized that to $27 million for the 3 projects. Going to be able to see on March the 3rd, but it's just for the 2 of them at this point.
Are there any questions, Mr. King? If not, I'll seek a motion for approval with contingent upon LGC approval.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you, Mr. King. Next up this evening, we have our legislative session. And first up, that is Mr. Poston and the Historic Preservation Ordinance revisions. Mr. Poston. Miss Henry said that she was going to cut your budget. 5 minutes.
Well, I think I can make it under that maybe tonight. Proper motivation
That's right.
is
I put
induced.
him up to it.
I don't really have much more to add than to remind the board and for the public edification that we work with the Historic Preservation Commission in making these changes. We're also statutorily required to go have a public hearing to the planning board. We had that public hearing. The planning board also recommends the adoption of these revisions, and they passed a consistency statement. What I would ask for the board's consideration is to approve the new historic preservation revisions of language, and also to consider the consistency statement that I think Angie's provided to you, basically stating that the draft states that we believe that the changes are consistent with our comprehensive plan as adopted, especially our goal with cultural resources. One, to identify our past and present historic and cultural resources and events and document them. This is one of the main tools that we use to do that in the county. The request that we would have would be the board consider adopting the new ordinance language and the consistency statement. And certainly I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Questions for Mr. Poston? I'll seek a motion for approval of the historic ordinance revisions with the changes that are consistent with the comprehensive plan. Does that suffice?
Yeah.
So moved.
All right, and a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Letson.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Moving on now to Resolution R26-02 and the countywide service district.
So this resolution was established in November, asking for the study, and this particular one is to enable us to create, or y'all to create, a service district for public services, which includes EMS services, fire department, and rescue squads. The total current budget total is at 6.48 cents per hundred, would be the new millage rate for that district. And then that would be deducted off of the 31 cents that we currently enact for the entire county. So the general fund would go down to 24.52, and the service district will be at 6.48. And so, with that said, I think we went through this process. We've asked for the public hearing. This is just establishing it. You're not establishing the rate because we're going into the budget cycle, and that during that time would be establishing the rate. But the 6.48 is what it is currently in this year's budget, what it would be. So anyway, do you have any questions about that?
Questions for Mr. King?
No, I think it's just concerned that it was gonna be an increase, but it's not. It's just pretty much break even, and it's just pretty much transparency of where the money is going to for public safety and
Public safety and your adding on.
EMS, yeah.
Well, also, it'll help lower people's insurance,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
Potentially.
Yeah.
It'll be more consistent, throughout North Carolina. Most counties have either a fire tax or a service district tax separate from the general fund. This will be doing that, and so your tax rate will be a lot lower for the general fund purposes, and then it'll establish the service fee for the public safety service. So people will be seeing where their funding is going instead of being absorbed all in one rate.
Macon County does it, correct? That's why they have such a low tax rate.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Chairman Letson.
Yes. Great. All right, moving on now. Anybody from the press? If not, we have a need to go into closed session this evening for personnel and real property and legal. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
And a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Closed session, we have a couple new items. First up, we have been in talks with Ruddle out of Birmingham for industrial development of lease space at the old TNS hardwood site. They're going to be working with us in developing that site for future buildings. And we have a need to sign a memorandum of understanding. Is there a motion to allow Mr. King to sign that memorandum of understanding?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Lastly, we have been in interviews for our library director for Jackson County, not for FRL, for Jackson County. And we have come to the conclusion that Grace Powell is a great candidate, and in closed session we took a vote with Todd, Commissioner Bryson abstaining due to a possible conflict of interest, and we'd like to welcome Grace as our new director of Jackson County Library. She will begin her first full day on June 1st. So congratulations, Grace. We look forward to working with you during this transition period and keeping our library operational. So, with no further business this evening, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? We are adjourned.